In a village in England, the head of a family is named William. He lives with his wife Catherine and their 5 children. The eldest child is a daughter named Thomasin. Then comes a son named Caleb, followed by the twins Mercy and Jonas, and the youngest son, Samuel. William and his family are expelled from their village after a religious conflict arises. William refuses to fully accept the doctrines preached by the local church, and as a result, the community forces them out. After being cast away, William leads his family to settle near a dense forest far from the village. There are no other homes nearby. During the day, the area feels unnaturally silent, and at night, the surrounding darkness becomes overwhelming. Living beside this terrifying forest slowly turns their daily life into a struggle. One day, William's eldest daughter Thomasin is playing near the edge of the forest with her younger brother Samuel. Suddenly, Thomasin realizes that Samuel is no longer in front of her. He vanishes without any warning. It appears as if some unknown presence snatches Samuel and escapes into the forest. Thomasin becomes deeply frightened, and the entire family collapses under the weight of this loss. William believes that a wild animal has taken Samuel. However, the truth remains uncertain. The relationship between Thomasin and her mother Catherine becomes toxic because the responsibility of watching Samuel had been placed on Thomasin. Catherine begins to develop a disturbing suspicion, repeatedly wondering if something is wrong with her own daughter. Slowly, she starts suspecting Thomasin of being a witch. Meanwhile, inside the forest, a shadowy figure appears. A witch is seen carrying Samuel wrapped in red cloth, moving through a desolate land of dry trees. The sun has already set and night is approaching. The witch appears old, diseased, and frail with sagging skin. In the dim light of a fire, she is revealed to be completely naked. Soon, a horrifying sight unfolds as the witch uses Samuel's blood and fat to create an ointment and smears it onto her body. Time passes. William and his family struggle to survive as there is no food and no work. William and his eldest son Caleb go to their farmland, only to discover that the crops have been completely destroyed, as if someone has deliberately ruined them. A narrow path leads from their home straight into the depths of the forest. Desperate to gather food, William takes his dog Fowler and follows that path to hunt. Caleb accompanies him, knowing the family will starve otherwise. While walking through the forest, Caleb asks his father whether Samuel has gone to hell since he is dead. As they continue, they suddenly spot a hare. Although hares are usually timid, this one shows no fear and does not flee. William sees an opportunity for food and raises his gun. The hare stares at them unnervingly. William fires, but the gun fails. Instead, it explodes, badly injuring him. Startled by the noise, the hare finally runs away, leaving behind the sense that it is no ordinary animal. After returning home, Thomasin is sent to wash William's clothes by the river. Caleb comes and sits beside her, and it becomes clear that he looks at his sister with inappropriate desire. The family is already breaking apart. Samuel has disappeared, food is scarce, and isolation has slowly disturbed their sense of morality. At that moment, Mercy arrives and begins insulting Thomasin. She accuses her of being a witch and claims that Thomasin gave Samuel to a witch. Hearing this from her own younger sister devastates Thomasin. She is already humiliated daily by her mother, and now even a child repeats the same accusation. Losing control, Thomasin falsely admits to being a witch and claims responsibility for Samuel's disappearance, invoking the devil in her words. Caleb intervenes and stops the argument, and Mercy runs away. Although Caleb is frightened by what Thomasin says, he knows she cannot be a witch. He insists that a wild animal took Samuel and leaves. That night, strange noises come from the goats in the barn. While putting the children to sleep, Catherine sees the same hare that William and Caleb encountered in the forest. The next morning, Caleb secretly leaves for hunting and Thomasin follows him. On the way, they encounter the terrifying hare again. The dog Fowler and their horse react in extreme fear. The horse becomes so distressed that it refuses to move. Fowler chases after the hare and Caleb runs after the dog. The horse, sensing an unknown danger, thrashes violently, throwing Thomasin to the ground and knocking her unconscious. Back at home, William and Catherine realize that Thomasin and Caleb are missing and begin shouting their names in panic. Thomasin regains consciousness and hears her father calling. She runs through the twisted forest paths and eventually returns home. Caleb, however, goes deeper into the forest while searching for Fowler. He reaches a place surrounded by thick branches, difficult to enter. After pushing through, Caleb discovers a small hut. Suddenly, a beautiful yet terrifying woman emerges from it. This woman is the witch. Her presence and behavior awaken forbidden desire within Caleb. He follows her inside and becomes ensnared in her spell. The witch embraces him, revealing her long, horrifying fingers with sharp nails and decaying skin. Caleb is completely trapped by her illusion with no path of return. Meanwhile, back at the house, the family is consumed by fear for Caleb, remembering how Samuel vanished in the same forest. Catherine repeatedly questions Thomasin about why they went into the woods, but Thomasin is too frightened to answer. At that moment, William admits that he is the one who showed Caleb the forest path. William explains that one day he and Caleb go into the forest searching for the wild animal believed to have taken Samuel. They set a trap there, hoping to catch it, knowing that selling its skin would bring enough money to end their poverty. He believes that Caleb goes to the forest again to check whether anything has been caught in that trap. William insists that Thomasin has no fault in this. William decides that he will go into the forest to search for Caleb. However, his wife refuses to take any more risks. Samuel is already gone, and Caleb is missing as well. She cannot bear the thought of losing her husband too. A violent argument erupts between them, and during the struggle, William's nose breaks and blood spills. Meanwhile, Catherine's suspicion toward Thomasin finally fades. She calls her daughter close, letting go of her earlier doubts. Some time later, while Thomasin is settling the goats in the barn, she hears strange noises outside. Rain falls steadily. By the faint light of a lantern, Thomasin sees Caleb standing there, completely naked. Somehow, using the last of his strength, Caleb has made his way back home. Caleb is quickly brought inside. Catherine lightly cuts near his brow with a knife, allowing his blood to drip into a bowl. As the blood gathers, Catherine murmurs strange prayers. It appears that she is offering this blood either to God in exchange for her son's life and the family's safety, or perhaps to some darker force, surrendering the blood so that they might be protected. The next morning, Thomasin begins milking the goats. Suddenly, blood pours out instead of milk from the white goat. Terrified, Thomasin drops the bowl and screams as she backs away. Inside the house, Caleb lies unconscious on the bed. William urges his wife to return to the village with him to bring a doctor, believing that Caleb will not survive otherwise. Catherine refuses, unwilling to leave the children alone. She also doubts that anyone in the village would help them, remembering how they were driven out without mercy. William goes to the fields to gather vegetables. While the others are occupied, horrifying screams erupt from Caleb's room. Caleb mutters incoherently, crying out in terror and speaking words that make no sense, as if unknowingly reciting some dark incantation. Suddenly, he screams that something is sitting on him and crushing his body, begging for divine mercy and punishment for his sins. Abruptly, his voice stops, as if an unseen force seals his mouth shut. Catherine forces his mouth open and pulls out a half-chewed apple. It becomes clear that some invisible power has trapped Caleb within dark magic. Mercy and Jonas are terrified by their brother's condition. Thomasin tries to hold them, but they pull away, screaming, remembering Thomasin's earlier claim by the river about giving Samuel to a witch. They begin to believe that Thomasin herself is a witch. The family prays together for Caleb's recovery. Suddenly, Caleb regains consciousness and begins screaming about a witch, claiming she will come and kill him. As the family continues their prayers, the unseen force finally releases him. In a weakened voice, Caleb begs God for release. Moments later, he exhales for the last time. Caleb dies. Catherine collapses in unbearable grief. William stands frozen, as if turned to stone. After Caleb's death, Catherine and the remaining children begin to distrust Thomasin completely, convinced that she is a witch. William stands by Thomasin and insists that he did not raise a witch, declaring her his daughter. Thomasin then reveals something that chills William. She claims that Jonas and Mercy are the true servants of evil. She says she has seen them speaking with the black goat every day and reveals that the goat is Lucifer himself, disguising his form and living among them. According to her, Jonas and Mercy worship him. Hearing this, William's eyes burn with rage. He drags Thomasin to the barn, where they find Jonas and Mercy lying unconscious inside. Caleb's dead body is also there. Trembling, Thomasin tells her mother that she has heard her younger siblings speaking with the black goat for a long time. Catherine refuses to believe a single word. Suddenly, Mercy and Jonas awaken. It becomes clear that they were never unconscious and had only been pretending, listening to everything. William locks Thomasin and the twins inside the barn. Crying desperately, Thomasin begs not to be kept with them, saying she is not safe and fears they will kill her. Night deepens. Catherine is seen rising from her bed and lighting a candle. In the yellow glow, she sees Caleb standing there holding Samuel in his arms. She is stunned, seeing both of her dead sons before her. Caleb whispers that he has returned for her and will never leave her alone. Terrified, Catherine recoils. Her sons are dead, yet they stand before her. Soon, her sense of reality collapses. She lifts Samuel into her arms and begins breastfeeding him. However, it is not Samuel. A crow is pecking at her chest, tearing the flesh until blood flows. Catherine does not see the bird. Lost in her delusion, she believes she is feeding her infant son. Smiling through the pain, she continues, unaware of the horror unfolding. Meanwhile, Jonas and Mercy are seen sitting awake through the night, paralyzed by fear. Suddenly, a sound comes from the roof, as if something is moving above them, jumping from one place to another. They look at each other in terror. Moments later, they sense the presence of a supernatural force around them. They then see the witch sitting near their goat, the same witch seen at the beginning. Her body bears clear signs of old age, and her horrifying appearance makes their stomachs turn. Suddenly, she turns her face toward them. In the next instant, the final screams of Mercy and Jonas echo through the night. Then everything falls silent. Morning arrives. William wakes up and steps outside to check on his children. His wife lies nearby, but William does not notice the wound on her chest or realize what happened during the night. He moves toward the place where he locked his children and finds only Thomasin. The white goats are lying dead. Suddenly, the black goat named Black Phillip charges at William and strikes him violently. The force of the blow is far stronger than expected, leaving William badly injured and barely alive. He struggles to stand, but Black Phillip attacks again and kills him completely. Thomasin witnesses everything in horror, unable to react as her family is destroyed before her eyes. At that moment, her mother Catherine comes outside. She immediately assumes that Thomasin is responsible for everything. Enraged, Catherine attacks her. Thomasin desperately tries to explain that she did not do any of this and that someone else has been behind these events from the beginning. Catherine refuses to listen. Forced to defend herself, Thomasin strikes her mother, killing her. As night falls, Thomasin, now completely alone, tries to speak to Black Phillip just as Mercy and Jonas once did. After a moment, Black Phillip responds. He offers her a comfortable life on the condition that she obeys everything he commands. Thomasin agrees and asks what she must do. Black Phillip instructs her to remove her clothes and walk naked toward the forest. Thomasin obeys. Black Phillip guides her path deep into the woods. Suddenly, a vision appears. Countless witches are dancing around a massive fire. Their movements suggest they are performing a ritual. Once it ends, the witches begin to rise into the air, their bodies wrapped in darkness. Thomasin is seen rising with them, flying alongside them into the shadows. She disappears into a black, unknown world. Her life separates completely from the world she once knew. Unable to bear the loss of her family and the weight of humiliation, she chooses the dark life within the forest. Thomasin becomes one of the witches who dwell there.